Branch code. Branch code is something where a variable holds a value of conditional statement of if else. And now let's talk about branchless code. Branchless code is something which is predictable and stable where we can perform conditional mathematical operation by using numeric methods of Rust. For example, x dot max. This value will return the same result as this branch if else statement. So this line is called branch statement and this line is called branchless statement. So what's the main difference? Uh, so now let's assume a scenario uh, where we are running or iterating over a million or 10 millions of records and we want to perform a mathematical operation on our some variable sum or like some any mathematical operation. On such scenarios, if we use branch code which is if else, then on those thousands of threads, every branch divergence forces both parts to run. Like it will definitely go in the first if and then will also go in the else, but then it will return the matching value. If it's a true, then it will return uh, if value, otherwise else value. So why why we should always use branchless code? Because it's more readable and it's more performative in expensive loops. So and why we should not use branches. Sometimes branches leak information through timing, and security code must be branchless. So for also security reasons, we should use branchless code. And also latency peaks performance in branchless code as well. So CPU is not always the same when we run our expensive loop. CPU might give some different results on different scenarios. Some like sometimes branchless code might perform well, or otherwise branch code might perform well. So it also depends on CPU. But in most cases, branchless code is much more performative and more readable. So in this video, we're going to uh, learn some branchless code methods. So now first let's talk about max. Max is an integer function of Rust where it compares left and right. It compares both left and right value and returns the maximum of them. So for example, our x is 5. We write here 15. Then our log will print 15. So let's see. Cargo run. So as expected, we got 15 because uh, max compares both value and returns the maximum. And similarly, we have minimum, which also does the same but returns the minimum of them value. So now here is y and we want to return the minimum which is 2. So let's see. So as expected we got 2 in our log. And now what if we are performing if else and else if statement for mathematical operation. On such scenarios we have so method called claim. So first let's understand what this if else doing. returning 0 if x is less than 0 and returning 255 if it's greater than x, and by default it will return x. So if you're coming from a different programming language, uh, it have ternary operations for one liner, but in Rust does not have ternary operator. But yeah, we can write if else statement inside a variable, which is cool thing. So how can we write this in single line in Rust? So for that we have a method called clamp, x dot clamp, which um, which is a branchless method. So what clamp does is, so let me explain what clamp method does. So we will go from right to left. So from right we have 255 and we will compare with x. If 255 is less than x, then we will return 255, and if not, then we will return x. And similarly, if x is less than 0, we will return 0, otherwise x. So this statement is much more cleaner and can be performed in expensive loops. So for those reasons, we should always use branchless method. So so now we have discussed branch and branchless method. So now let's actually run the performance analyzer and let's see which method is faster, branchless or branch method. But like I said, it it is very unpredictable. Sometimes branch code is might perform well, or otherwise branchless code might also perform well. But due to stability and more readability, branchless code is more preferable. And on most of the cases, branchless code perform much better than branch code. So let's run this our performance analyzer. And sorry about that. And first, let me explain what this performance analyzer is doing. We are iterating over 10 millions of record where we are pushing random data. First is if it's even, we're pushing positive value, otherwise negative. So, and here we have created two functions. First is branch function, and second is branchless. So, as discussed earlier, we are implementing if else for branch and numeric methods for branchless. So now let's run and see which uh, runs more faster. So as expected, branch method took around 25 millisecond, whereas branchless statement took only 13 millisecond in 10 millions of records. So hence we prove that branchless code is much more performative and more predictable and more readable. So moral of the story, we should always use uh, branchless code in a expensive loop. But that doesn't mean we should not use branch code, which is if else. We, mm, we will also use branch code, but inside a business logic or some other statements where branch code is more uh, granular, and branch code is definitely not for using loops. So yeah, that's it for this video. Thank you.